We're stringing lights for this warm winter night. Fill the house with cheer. We're so glad you're here on a CBS night.
'Tis the season. The more, the merrier.
Holiday hoopy whatty?
With 25 days of animated classics.
I'm too much.
Holiday blockbusters.
Got presents. Happy Christmas, Harry.
And world premieres of 2 ABC Family original holiday movies.
Merry Christmas, everybody!
Yes.
The 25 Days of Christmas, December 1st through the 25th, only on ABC Family.
We deck the hall with Christmas. The rockets are all a-dancing. The choir is a-singing. The sleigh bells are a-ringing. Never was there ever such a Christmas show.
The Radio City Christmas Spectacular.
It will fill your heart with Christmas. Taking someone that you know.
Someone that you love.
To see the Radio City Christmas show.
Call today.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire. Jack Frost nipping at your nose. Yuletide carols being sung by a choir. And folks dressed up like Eskimos. And so we're offering this simple phrase to kids from 1 to 92. Although it's been said many times, many ways, Merry Christmas to you.
Great gifts for each one on your list. Cool TV, VCRs and TVs, Kmart's got. Yes, low prices, house fire. On entertainment, get games, movies, all the big names, DSS. 200 channels, no less. For this holiday, Kmart's the way to entertainment.
So I'll get my jump.
Miracles really do happen.
Looks like someone's gonna have a very happy holiday.
Yep.
Santa. Our budgets feel tight. This week at Sears, save $50 on this Kenmore upright with attachments and get a free canister vacuum. We're open 8 till 11. Come see the merry side of Sears.
The old me would panic, but the new me turns to the JCPenney catalog, where I save 20% on most gifts I order till the Tuesday before Christmas by asking for the Santa TV discount. I'm a woman who's learned to simplify.
More dreams are dreamt under our covers. More wishes are wished for on our pages. And more...
I didn't know what I had. She was dependable, reliable, not very glamorous, though. That's why I left. For beauty. But underneath that beauty. So I came running back. And I'll never leave again.
Another person who found out that inner goodness is far more important than outward appearance.
It's the NBC Follies with Sammy Davis Jr., Michael Landon,
To the tune, whistle night and noon.
Johnny Brown, Connie Stevens, and more. The NBC Follies coming up next.
Men like John Riley flying you nonstop on the Chicago Expressway 5 times a day on Continental Airlines, a flight to remember. Girls like Dawn Dobbins flying with you on the most flights to Houston, 15 every day on Continental Airlines, a flight to remember. A place like the Rockies with the most nonstops to Denver, 7 every day on Continental Airlines, a flight to remember.
Now, in the Zenith tradition of dependability and picture excellence comes a whole new television system. New Zenith solid-state Chromacolor 2 with a more powerful solid-state chassis, a unique voltage regulator to protect components, and an advanced Chromacolor picture tube. You get Zenith dependability and Zenith's best color picture yet. New Zenith solid-state Chromacolor 2. At Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on.
Georgie, you are about to see the investment idea of the century.
Al.
The electric fork.
Oh, Al.
I can get you in on the ground floor.
Al, I've got my money invested in something else.
More and more people are discovering savings accounts at Savings and Loans. The return is substantial, and your money is insured up to $20,000 by an agency at the federal government.
Al, is this the same guy who invented the folding waterbed?
That's not funny, Georgie. I almost drowned.
Your Savings and Loan wants you to know how money works.
Well, I give 100% all the time. I believe that the game is played between those 2 white lines, and after the game is over with, I like to go in my locker room and feel like I can look in the mirror and say, well, I've given it all I got. That's why I like to use Brute, because it gives me 100%. It smells good. It stays with me a lot longer.
Brute by Fabergé. After shave, after shower, after anything.
On the field, I let my bat do the talking. Off the field, I let my Brute do the talking.
Men like John Riley flying you nonstop on the Chicago Expressway 5 times a day on Continental Airlines, a flight to remember. Girls like Dawn Dobbins flying with you on the most flights to Houston, 15 every day on Continental Airlines, a flight to remember. A place like the Rockies with the most nonstops to Denver, 7 every day on Continental Airlines, a flight to remember.
If there's anything advertised on TV today you'd like to own, remember who can help you buy it. Avco Financial Services.
Hi again, housewives. It's 10:43 in the morning.
10:43 in the morning? How can it...
If your clock radio ever got you up too late, maybe you bought it from people who know a lot about radios, but not enough about clocks.
Hello, sir. This is Terry. You'll never believe this, but my dog swallowed my car keys. Both sets.
West Clocks has been telling people the correct time for over 80 years. Finally, a clock radio from people who know something about clocks.
For most people, life is usually sunshine and light. But how about that time when you have to come to grips with your monthly bills and balances? I bet that's when you get the feeling the sun will never shine again. So what do? Wouldn't it be great to get out from under everything you owe and end up with just one monthly payment that'll probably be less than the total you're paying right now? Well, that's exactly what an HFC bill payer loan is all about. So why not see Household Finance the next time you have that rainy day feeling? See us about a bill payer loan. It's put a lot of people on the sunny side of the street. Household Finance, the oldest, most experienced company of its kind.
Well, I'm going to try something a little nutty with this cotton ball. First, I'm going to spray this antiperspirant on my arm,
Wet. Now here's the cotton ball part. Sticky. Now watch this. Light powder, arid extra dry, and another cotton ball. Aha, not sticky. How come? Powder. Soft, smooth, dry powder. As dry a powder as you can get in a spray. Try light powder, arid. Do something really dry for your underarms.
Hello, YouTube. This is Bill Cannon. I'm guest hosting for this moron, the Glera. I'm Bill Cannon. I'm a New York City homicide detective, retired detective sergeant over 27 years, and 27 years, and I got the Glera to let me use his channel to get to talk to you guys, and maybe I could, maybe beat a little New York sense into you, because you sit here and you act like morons, bunch of people acting like you're super sleuths when you should be working at the Piggly Wiggly. And just go back to that. And now, what I'm going to do is we're going to go over this other moron. We're going to discuss what he's doing with his life, wasting everybody's time, wasting taxpayer money by going and getting himself arrested. And, over this nonsense of this Karen Reed woman who's clearly a murderer. All the evidence that I couldn't read because I can't see it supposedly says so, because my dear friend Jennifer Coffendorfer from Court TV, published author and retired elite FBI agent extraordinaire, and if I may say so, got quite a pair of gams on her. And I'm hoping that maybe her and I could maybe get together for a Metamucil spiked drink. Now, first thing you got to remember is you got this woman, Karen Reed, who she's got a trial set for sometime next year. I did a deep dive on this just recently, and if you want to know any information, go back and reference that, because, well, frankly, I can't remember. So, now, this woman is on trial. She's pleading not guilty, claiming that she's innocent of murdering a Boston police officer by the name of John O'Keefe. Now, this John O'Keefe fella and her, they were apparently out doing some heavy drinking and driving as well. Now, in my opinion, this Karen Reed woman should have never been driving, seeing as she's drunk. So maybe John should have been doing the driving because he's a cop. And, well, you all know, as an elite member of the homicide unit in New York City, it's okay for cops to do basically whatever the fuck we want. So anyway, we're gonna move on to this moron, this idiot, this turtle person. He is somehow turned this entire town of Boston, and I think it's Massachusetts, turned this entire city on its head against each other, and it's all his fault. He's clearly got some sort of mystical powers and has hypnotized half of the people of Boston to believe anything that he says, even nonsense that some police officers and a dog could have actually done this to John O'Keefe, when everybody knows that the evidence, such as bite marks and scratches on one's arm and no injuries to the lower body, clearly indicate a vehicular homicide. Now, obviously, these charges have been they've been upgraded from manslaughter to murder, and that tells me everything I need to know. She's guilty. She's obviously guilty, and I think that not only should they lock this woman up, but they should throw her underneath the jail. If you ask me. So, without any further ado, we're gonna talk about this moron, this idiot, this so-called journalist, when he's just a dumb YouTuber who thinks he's a super sleuth, and all of his stupid minions that are clearly just following blindly to this moron, which makes them morons too. I mean, they've got to be even more stupid. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at this hearing that took place yesterday, which I think was a win. If I'm being completely frank with all of you. Hold on, I'm trying to find gosh darn button. I don't know where. Stupid techie stuff that people do these days. In my day, all you needed was a gun, pack of red Solo cups, you were good to go. Oh God. Jesus. I'm not getting any of this money. This idiot DeGlare is gonna get this money. So hold on. I told him that I was gonna do this. When people sent money. Waste of time, if you ask me. Waste of time.
I think we got a super dad. Super dad. I think we got a super dad. Super dad. Super dad. Super dad. 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 I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad. I think we got a super dad.
Jeez, how do you stop that? That is very loud and disturbing, frankly. These kids today, I don't understand. In my day, I never had to deal with kids like this. Hell, I never saw them. Before that stupid idiot Giuliani came along and cleaned up the city, I used to spend half my shift in my car and the other half in the X-rated porno theater. He was a good friend of mine. It was sad when he died. Good buddy. We sat next to each other quite a bit, actually. Oh. Yeah, I think I got it. There we go. Hold on. And now, hold on. Oh, Jesus. I don't know. I know we got it. We got it. This idiot didn't have any coffee cups, so I had to use his stupid blue cup. Sanitize the hell out of this thing. Who knows what kind of stupid stuff this idiot's carrying on his lips, talking all of those crazy theories and conspiracies. Look at this idiot. What lawyer would represent a guy like that? If I was a lawyer, I'd be like, keep your money. You're guilty. Whatever the police say you did, you must have done it.
You are unmuted.
What? Is that me? Do I need to check something here? What is that? Stupid computer stuff. I don't understand it. You know, I like the good old days where all I needed was a typewriter.
You are muted.
And a patrol rookie. Stupid cup. What are you smiling about? What are you smiling about, you idiot? I wonder what they're talking about. Probably talking about how they're gonna go touch people inappropriately and harass, find who their next victims are, and put the squeeze on Super Trooper Proctor. I call him Super Trooper because he's a super cop. It should all be like Super Trooper Proctor. You know how I know he's a Super Trooper? Because Coffinduffer told me. That's how I know. That's all I need to know. He's former FBI.
So just to let you know, you guys are going to pool, so we just have one still and one live, okay? Everyone's on the same page with that, right? Okay. Globe Herald, okay. The only lasting paper, okay. That's it. Okay, thank you.
All of you people in the chat, be sure to take a moment, like and subscribe. It has nothing to do with me, but this idiot, the Glairer, whatever the hell he calls himself, he needs all the help he can get. This is supposedly just for members only, and but this will be public later. So he tells me to tell you that this is just for you, for being so loyal. which just tells me that you all are just as stupid, if not stupider, than he is. So why you're here supporting this moron is beyond me, but hit the like and the subscribe and who is this idiot? Look at this guy. Oh, he's a winner. Is that your Piggly Wiggly work uniform or what is that? What is that? Turn the volume up. Police reform now. Let's look at this guy. Police reform. And he's wearing a mask. Can't figure out how to work this. I need to see. We gotta hear the sound, don't we? We gotta hear what this idiot, what the judge is gonna say, because you know the judge is gonna throw the book at this moron. What is he doing? Is he texting on his phone in court? I thought they confiscated his phone through a perfectly legal search and seizure under perfectly legitimate circumstances. Now again, because you all know that I can't talk about myself quite enough, I am Bill Cannon. I am welcome to Police Off the Muff, and I am a very seasoned and experienced elite homicide detective sergeant of the NYPD. They made me get rid of the NY and the PD on my hat because they said something foolish about they didn't want those letters anywhere on my person in public anymore. I don't know why. I can't imagine why, because I was an elite investigator.
This is number 6 on our list. Colorado versus Aiden Kearney, 23A2CR 313. Can I have counsel identify themselves for the record, starting with the comment?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Kenneth Mello, Special Prosecutor.
Okay, Mr. Mello.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Timothy Bradle on behalf of Aiden Kearney, who's here before me for the record.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for hearing us.
All right, you can be seated. Okay. I took the charge today for arraignment. May I proceed?
Yes,
Mr. Bradle, does your client waive the right to a full meeting?
we do, Mr. Clerk.
Thank you. 1 through 8, intimidation of a witness, 9 through 13, picketing, and 14 through 16, conspiracy. Mr. Kearney, how do you wish to plead? Guilty or not guilty? Not guilty. Plead. Thank you.
Not guilty. What a joke.
Question of him?
Who are you fooling?
Not
They've got you dead to rights. Dead to rights.
Okay, and
You're guiltier than that.
I'll hear you.
Than that whore that murdered Boston cop. That there is plenty of evidence I haven't seen yet during my deep dive. Prove that she is a whore and a murderer.
And with respect to the timing of this arraignment, I'd like to reflect this as some public comment that we had represented to the defense.
You know, I've got to tell you guys, my hats off to this gentleman here who's representing the state of Massachusetts, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Ken Mello, who is the special prosecutor for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, who is, my hat's off to this young man who is doing, in my opinion, God's work, because he's going to be responsible for taking this menace off the streets. This menace who has terrorized witnesses and police officers, members, brothers of the badge, who have investigative skills of the likes of which I've never seen.
That arraignment would not take place until after the Christmas holiday. It was advanced to today, Your Honor, because Mr. Brado will be away, and we're looking to accommodate that schedule. So I would like that to the record reflect that's the reason it's being held when it's being held.
Sure.
In terms of,
We were open for business next week, and we were prepared to do it next week, but I understood Mr. Brado was going to be away.
Judge, obviously this proceeding today is not being held in a vacuum. Your Honor has heard the facts of the cases that
you hear that?
To the
facts.
Indictments appearing before you today. Unless Your Honor wants a summary, I will not repeat them. It's certainly been discussed publicly in this courtroom before you.
My friends, you have to make sure to give this idiot the Glairer a like, and make sure to subscribe. And if you're not a member already, which you are, but I'm an idiot, so I'm going to say it anyway. I think it rubs off on me being on this channel. And make sure to I'm Bill Cannon, retired New York City special elite homicide detective of over 27 years. And my hat's off to this gentleman, Mr. Ken Mello, for being the greatest hero that this town has ever seen.
Your Honor.
Right.
To save.
I don't need a summary. What are you suggesting as conditions?
Your Honor, we're looking for stayaways again. One of the problems we've had, Judge, and I've spoken to Mr. Brado about this several times, the defendant has, in the Commonwealth's opinion, continued to violate.
Now that's how you say you can hear the professionalism there. You can absolutely hear the professionalism that this gentleman is expressing, because only morons say defendant, okay? Professionals who are seasoned courtroom officers will say defendant. You can tell because it has panache, not panache, not panache, but panache, much like defendant.
Original conditions of bail, including those that were amended by Your Honor. If Your Honor were to look at the video, provided Mr. Brado has received a copy as well with thumb drive, it's clear that Mr. Carney is encouraging his minions, his followers, in the context of his blogs and YouTubes, etc., to continue to harass witnesses. He'd make a statement such as, "I can't do this, and I'm not telling you to do this, but you can do this, but I'm not saying you can't do this. Don't put words in my mouth." You know.
Now, listen to this presentation to the judge. I want you guys to pay close attention because this is genius. This is how you present a case. Okay? Being in law enforcement for 27 years. Now, I would have to testify in courtrooms. I worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of special prosecutors, just like this one. and he is presenting a case perfectly. Now, I want you to pay very close attention to how he presents the evidence. Pay close attention.
Encouraging his.
We're going to slow it down so we can hear these words clearly.
Opinions as follows, in the context of his blogs and YouTubes, etc., to continue to harass witnesses.
Harass witnesses.
He made statements such as, "I can't do this," and I'm not telling you to do this, but you can do this, but I'm not saying you can't do this. You can do this, but I'm not telling you to do this, but you can do this, but I'm not saying.
You can do this, I'm telling you to do this. You can do this. You can't do this. I'm telling you to do this. That is cut and dry in my 27 years of being an elite homicide investigator. That is the red hand. That is the smoking gun. You can't do this. I'm not telling you to do this, but can do this, and do this can't. That's a smoking gun, case closed. Why the judge doesn't just throw him under the jail right now is beyond me. I don't understand.
Saying you can't do this. Don't put words in my mouth.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Read between the lines. Read between the lines on approaching these witnesses. But you can do this, but I'm not saying you can't do this. And I'm not telling you to do this, but you can do this, but I'm not saying you can't do this. Don't put words in my mouth.
Genius.
Read between the lines. Read between the lines on approaching these witnesses. And he's made similar statements several times. And it's the Commonwealth's contention that this is a very disingenuous way that the defendant is indirectly encouraging others to indirectly harass these witnesses and to intimidate these people and take it in front of their homes, etc. What I can represent, Your Honor, is that we had the grand jury proceedings underway. The Commonwealth was aware that most likely this matter would be before Your Honor or before the Superior Court in relatively short order. We did not proceed with bail revocation in the district court. However, I can assure Your Honor and would like the defendant to be on notice that if there's one more instance where he is online
now that's
suggesting
that is exactly how you get things done. We're putting you on notice. Turtle idiot. We're putting you on notice. And I would like Your Honor to put him on notice as well. So that's how you get things done, folks. Pay close attention. This the hand of justice might as well be the hand of God.
the people or encouraging people, either directly, disingenuously, or whatever the case may be, and encouraging in some way to read between the lines, that we will be back before the court seeking a bail revocation as well as a dangerousness hearing. I would ask Your Honor to fashion some type of order that Your Honor believes would be effective in precluding this defendant from going on.
Pay close attention to the language by this very intelligent, very experienced special prosecutor. Pay close attention to the language. He says, I would like Your Honor to fashion some sort of way for him to not break the law, Your Honor. I would like some way for this to happen. I would like Your Honor to fashion some way. My name is Bill Cannon. I'm Special Homicide Detective Sergeant, the NYPD. 27 years, the most elite homicide units. And you all work at the Piggly Wiggly.
Line, and encouraging his followers to essentially continue his pattern of intimidation.
What specifically are you asking me to order?
Judge,
You're asking me to write it.
I'm sorry?
What do you want me to say?
Well, that he should not.
Now, someone answer me this. Is this judge deaf or stupid or both? What would you like me to order? With some sort of sarcasm, being a smart mouth. Who does this judge think he is? Talking to an experienced special prosecutor in this manner. What would you like me to order? He just told you. He just said to fashion something. The ball's in your court, Judge. The ball's in your court. Moron.
Encourage, intimidate, directly or indirectly, to have his supporters or encourage his supporters to approach witnesses.
That's what the district court said. You have to stay away and have no contact with the witnesses directly or indirectly.
Or I think perhaps language that prohibits him from encouraging others to do so. Judge, it may come as far as not even mentioning the...
Exactly. I don't understand what's so hard to understand about this. So, the order clearly states to not harass directly or indirectly. What do you not understand about what the prosecutor is asking you to do? He's saying fashion something, add to the order, make the order something that is better than what it is for the prosecution. It's not that hard. I don't understand why this judge is so thick. All you have to do is just change the already standing order because I asked you to. I don't understand. Moron.
The names of the victims that appear here. I certainly understand that there are First Amendment arguments that are being made, and we're extremely sensitive to that. We're extremely sensitive to the fact that the defendant claims to be a journalist covering the case involving Karen Reed.
Exactly.
We're aware of all of those things.
We're aware of the First Amendment. We all love America and the First Amendment. The First Amendment, freedom of speech. But the problem here is he thinks that freedom of speech means freedom to say whatever you want, freedom to speak. But what freedom of speech really means is say whatever you want as long as it's not to a police officer or somebody in a close relationship with one. You could say anything as long as the police say that it's okay. It's a very simple, very easy concept to understand.
However, the lines blur, the lines cross, and he is hiding behind the guise of a journalist, encouraging basically as an activist. And when he's doing so, that's what we're going to ask Ron to preclude him from doing, and perhaps preclude him from mentioning
an activist, my foot.
The names of these particular witnesses in a context that would encourage others to approach them or communicate with them. I know it's very difficult. If you see it, you know what it is, but it's very difficult to define it. And I think it's extremely disingenuous of the defendant to say he's not engaging in it when he's saying.
There it is again. Defendant.
Hold on 1 second.
I love it. I love it.
All phones off, please.
Go ahead, Mr. Miller.
Defendant. I feel like my Viagra's finally working every time he says that.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think it's extremely disingenuous of this defendant to say, I'm not encouraging this when he's using terms such as read between the lines.
Okay. All right, Mr. Bradle.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. We would just maintain our objections that we've earlier made before the court as to stay-away orders on probable cause, First Amendment and due process grounds. Ask that you just maintain that for the record in terms of our objection.
Look at his.
As to any.
Look at his smug face sitting there, and look at his even smuggier lawyer. Scum. All defense attorneys are scum. Absolute, disgusting scum. Now, you look at this idiot, this moron, this cult leader sitting there, all smug. He's smug. He's absolutely full of himself and thinks that he can get away with anything when he just doesn't seem to understand that if the police say you're guilty, you're guilty. That's how it works. Idiot.
Prior restraint on Mr. Carney's speech. Counsel for the Commonwealth is having trouble articulating it because it's such a problematic area. I think that, how are you going to do this? Mr. Carney has a First Amendment right to encourage people to exercise their First Amendment rights. I've advised my client about the notion of indirect contact. When you tell someone to contact someone you can't contact on your behalf, that's indirect contact. He can tell people under the First Amendment to, he can share his views with his readers or his viewers, and they can do what they want. He's allowed to encourage them to.
You can't do what you want. The First Amendment says freedom to freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of but you can do anything you want as long as it's not to a police officer. You can't say whatever you want to someone who wears a badge.
Speak out against what he sees as corruption, what he sees as mismanagement of the Reed case, etc. I've advised him about the notion of indirect contact. We have a disagreement, counsel and I, a respectful disagreement apparently, about what constitutes violating these orders. These orders are, in effect, prior restraints on his First Amendment activity, Your Honor.
Where did you go to college?
So they must be narrowly tailored and strictly construed. And
oh, God help me. I have to do this stupid thing every time the fucking idiot gets a fucking super chat. Hold on.
I think we got a super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. Super chat. Super chat. Super chat. I think we got a super chat. I think we got a super chat.
Emma Bayflid. You sent $10. If you ask me, it's $11 too much. You said, hey, Bill, that's me. can I trust you to pass this on to Will, aka the Piggly Wiggly moron? Well, let me tell you a story. My name is Bill Cannon. I'm retired NYPD sergeant, detective, most elite homicide unit of over 27 years. And now you're asking about trust. There is nothing more trustworthy than an NYPD police officer. Nothing in the world more trustworthy than an NYPD police officer, especially Bill Cannon of the New York City Police Department, retired detective sergeant, 27 years. New York City Police Department. The answer is yes.
In this case, we've discussed it. My client and I think we know as best we can what can and can't be done. In terms of speaking out,
shut up!
That's not
idiot.
harassment. That's not witness intimidation. That's journalism, and it's cloaked by the First Amendment, Your Honor. So I would object to any attempt to sort of craft a prior restraint here, Your Honor. And we'd object to any sort of effort in that regard.
All right, your client consents to the stay away, no contact, direct or indirect.
Well, you
to
object,
various,
idiot.
We don't, Your Honor.
don't.
We object for the record.
You object?
Yes. Yep.
All right. Mr. Mello, under what statute do I have the authority to compel Mr. Kearney to stay away and have no contact with the victims?
Now, I'd really like to know why this idiot judge is talking about statues. That's an entirely different issue. Statues being torn down. Statues of our history being torn down for no good reason. Why this judge will not stay on task is a mystery to me. Bill Cannon, retired New York City homicide detective sergeant, 27 years.
Well, Your Honor, it's common practice, as Your Honor is aware.
I'm not talking about common practice, Mr. Mello. I'm talking about what statute authorizes me. This is not a district court proceeding, which is subject to Section 58 of Chapter 276. This is a proceeding under Section 87, of 57 of Chapter 276, or I have authority under Section 87 of Chapter 276 to impose conditions with consent. You don't have to ask for personal recognizance. You can ask for bail. You can ask for dangerousness if you think that's appropriate. But under what statute do I have the authority to set conditions to which Mr. Kearney does not consent?
It escapes me completely what is going through this judge's mind. I don't know if he's got poop in his ears, or I don't know. I don't know if he's just plain thick. But if you're looking for a statue, I cannot help you. But this very experienced and very genius special prosecutor is saying to fashion something. You idiot. fashion a statue or whatever you need to do. Just do what the prosecutor says. Just fashion something. You're the judge. I have to tell you what to do. I have to try this case and tell you how to do your job, Your Honor. Idiot.
I believe that, well, obviously, Your Honor, you would have to sign the terms and conditions of bail. We could do that through the context of a dangerousness hearing, which the Commonwealth prefers not to employ at this point in time.
You haven't moved for dangerousness.
I'm sorry?
You haven't moved for dangerousness. You haven't invoked 58A.
Right, we have not.
Right. So what statute authorizes me, absent section 58A, to impose conditions?
These conspiracy theorists are crazy who think that Karen Reed is innocent. Don't get me started on those piggly wiggly morons. But piggly wiggly, that's right. These piggly wiggly morons. Now, these conspiracy theorists that a bunch of police officers killed one of their fellow police officers and framed an innocent woman who is a whore, by the way. A drunken whore, by the way. Well, this leads me to believe that if they don't see that this judge and this defense attorney, garbage, human garbage, are working together and they're focused on crazy conspiracy theories, but don't see that these two are clearly in cahoots, well, I don't know what to tell you.
Conditions on Mr. Kearney's release, if you're asking or consenting to personal cognizance.
I think.
Or even if you're stipulating to a particular bail. Section 87 is different than section 57 is different than section 58.
I understand that, Your Honor. I think in total, both sections 57 and 58 would give Your Honor the authority to impose certain conditions, especially when it comes to these witnesses. I think the challenge here, Judge, is we have competing interests in each other. We have the competing interest of a claim of journalism and
Section, you said 57 and 58 together give the court authority. Section 58 applies to the district court, right? And section 57 applies to the Superior Court, right?
Correct.
And 58 has a provision in it that says, if the judge, I'm going to paraphrase now, of the district court determines it to be necessary, the defendant may be ordered to abide by specified restrictions on his personal associations or conduct. I quote that now to you in section 58.
This judge is clearly a moron. He's just throwing words together and he just sounds dumb. He sounds, as they would say in my day, gifted.
I quoted it before in my earlier decision, right? Section 57 has no such provision, right?
I would argue, Your Honor, that although it indicates that the district court judge may do it, certainly comes under the purview of the Superior Court. I don't think the intent of the legislature was to narrow the authority of this particular court and make it less than that of the district court. It's normally that these matters are instituted in the district court before they arrive at Your Honor's level, and I believe that's why the legislature perhaps put that language in, but I don't believe it precludes this court.
The language, Your Honor, pay attention. Idiot.
You have a case that says that? I mean, the
I don't,
statutes are
Judge.
different.
I wasn't expecting.
You came in asking me to set.
I don't understand. This judge is all over the place. He's talking about statues and suitcases. Now, why would a suitcase have whatever the prosecutor, the special prosecutor just said? Why? Is there a special brand? Does Samsonite make a special edition, a special line? I don't understand why he's trying to say, if he has a case that says this. What do you mean? A case of scotch? I don't. Makes no sense at all.
A set of release conditions that you knew Mr. Kearney wasn't going to consent to. He objected to it before in the district court.
Judge.
I think the district court was entirely within its power to set that condition. And it was appropriate for me to uphold that condition. I think it's an appropriate condition to be imposed in this case, in the Superior Court. But I don't know if I have the power to do it under the statutes. And I'm looking for some authority that you might have indicating that I have the power to do it.
What I would ask Your Honor to order is that he comply with all laws. The general provisions when someone is released on bail.
Right there.
The Commonwealth, the general, that he comply with all laws.
Have the power to do it.
What I would ask Your Honor to order is that he comply with all laws.
Power to do it.
What I would ask Your Honor to order is that he comply with all laws.
To do it.
What I would ask Your Honor to order is that he comply with all laws.
It's very important, you idiots in the chat, that you understand that for an effective special prosecutor to do their job, it is vital that you remind the judge in court to remind the defendant that he must not break the law. This is very, very, very important. If you do not remind the judge, well, then what this does is it gives the defendant the freedom to break the law. If the judge does not directly tell the defendant not to break the law, who is already in court for allegedly breaking the law. This is how you try a case, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Bill Cannon, Special Elite New York City Homicide Detective Sergeant. $27 years.
The general provisions when someone is released on bail, the Commonwealth will take it from there if there's
If he's released on bail, he doesn't have to sign anything with respect to personal recognizance, right?
No.
You're asking me to release him on his personal recognizance, right? You're not asking for me to set bail, and you're not asking for me, you're not giving me any authority to indicate that I have the right or the power to impose conditions on his release.
I would suggest a dollar bail, Judge, if that's what.
Well, excuse me for a second. I have the.
A dollar bail is exactly what you do in a situation like this. I've seen it 100,000 times in my 27 years of being a New York City sergeant detective. Homicide. You absolutely do this. This is the most important thing that you can do, is you have to remind the judge to remind the defendant not to break the law. And you also have to make sure that the defendant knows not to break the law, as well as the judge knows to remind the defendant not to break the law. Very, very important process, a due process. But this judge is extremely thick because he doesn't seem to understand that the prosecutor is demanding that the judge make up a law to keep him from breaking the law. Don't understand why the judge can't comprehend something so simple.
Power to impose conditions of release under Section 87, including stay away, no contact orders, with the defendant's consent, right?
Understood.
Okay. So,
I mean, I realize I can appear before Your Honor asking for a high bail, which I don't believe the Commonwealth would be honest to do. We don't expect Mr. Kearney to not appear, at least at this point in time. The normal condition of release, Judge, would be that he comply with all statutes. If Your Honor is not inclined at this point in time to fashion an order, the Commonwealth certainly appreciates the court's position.
I don't have to order him not to commit crimes. If he commits another crime, he'll be in front of the court on a violation notice. I don't have to order that. He's already subject to the law as everybody else is.
Again, this judge is an idiot. He's not subject to the law as everybody else is because, as we all know, the police are not subject to the law. So, therefore, he's not subject to the same laws that the police are. It's just that simple. I don't understand why this judge is having such a difficult time getting this.
We would indicate that's an indirect violation and we would proceed back in court, Judge. I'll accept Your Honor's ruling.
Okay. Anything further, Mr. Bradle?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. All right. I'm going to, on the Commonwealth's recommendation, release Mr. Kearney on personal recognizance. The Commonwealth not now looking for bail. I do find that the Commonwealth has asked for conditions to be set on Mr. Kearney's release. But the Commonwealth provides me with no authority that I have the power to do that over Mr. Kearney's objection. The statutes are a little bit convoluted. General Laws 276, Section 87 allows me to set conditions on release if the defendant consents to those conditions. Here, Mr. Kearney doesn't consent to those conditions. And the provision in Chapter 276, Section...
That is an evil man that belongs in prison. Right there. That is an evil man. Now, it is a haircut that you can set your watch to. Absolutely. But it is clearly an evil man.
Paragraph 1, last sentence, which I quoted before, authorizes the district court to set conditions on personal association or conduct, including avoiding all contact with an alleged victim of crime. That provision does not appear in Section 57, which is the provision that applies in this case for the setting of bail in the Superior Court. And while that provision, Section 57, authorizes the setting of conditions in 209A and related type cases, this is not one of those enumerated in Section 57, which allows me to set conditions on Mr. Kearney's bail over his objection. This is a bail setting under the first paragraph of Section 57, which does not have the same language as in Section 58. So I am hamstrung, at least with the authority given to me by the Commonwealth. So I'm going to release Mr. Kearney on bail. He knows that if he commits a crime, he'll be back in front of the court in court.
I'm still alive.
So you'll make sure that,
by the
Mr.
grace
Mello, I'm sure.
of God.
Anything else? We need a pretrial conference and a pretrial hearing.
Concern.
I would suggest something in February for pre-trial conference. Later in February?
February 7th, all right, for a pretrial conference?
Is that okay?
I would ask for the 16th.
16th, sure. I'm going to be, it's not a good week. Actually, no, 16 is fine. February 16, that's fine.
And then something in April for pre-trial hearing?
Also the 16th. Is that it?
Is April 16th, Ken?
April 16th?
Yes.
Can't do it, I'm sorry. Can we go to the following week?
Sure.
23rd?
Yes. Is that okay, Mr. Miller?
It is.
Mr. Keating, you'll be released on your own personal recognizance. Please be advised, while on personal, if you're arrested for a new crime, you can be held without bail for up to 90 days, and your failure to appear at a court appearance results in a fine of up to $50,000 and/or 5 years in jail. Your matters continue to 2:16 at 2 p.m. for pre-trial conference and 4:23 at 2 p.m. for pre-trial hearing.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
All right, please.
How do I, hold on, I have to get rid of this. This is, again, this is Bill Cannon. I'm the I am a detective sergeant of the NYPD, retired, 27 years, most elite homicide units in the world. Look at this idiot. And listen to all those idiot minions out there cheering him on. He's got this town divided, and he should be thrown under the jail. All of his conspiracy theories and whatnot. He's an idiot YouTuber who shouldn't be anywhere near a microphone or a pen pad even.
Oh, my catchphrase! Oh, my catchphrase! I'm amazed! Tell him about me!
Ted, go ahead.
Yeah, Tim, it sounded to me, and maybe I didn't hear it correctly, that he said he was considering seeking a dangerousness here.
I think that was on a suggestion by the judge. There's no dangerousness hearing. It's not going to pan out. It's just a straight release on personal recognizance. There's no conditions of release. There's no nothing. It's just straight personal recognizance. The most lenient release determination you could possibly get.
So those conditions that had been at the district court are now gone?
They're gone, correct.
No, I don't understand that. And so, a Superior Court judge can't set the same conditions that would be set in a district court?
Well,
so now, thanks to this moron of a judge, this idiot gets to walk free and continue to harass and intimidate police officers by asking them very disturbing questions and hurting their feelings. This is a hardened criminal, and he should be stopped. The justice system has failed here.
Well, the statutes are a little different. The judge apparently felt that the Commonwealth didn't make their case, and he wasn't going to make it for him. So we're going to leave it there.
What do you think about the Commonwealth trying to make its case? It seemed like he was struggling a bit.
Well, you know, we've all been there, first of all, so I'm not gonna say anything about that. But you know, a judge likes to throw curveballs.
Now I love the gentleman that I hear in the background there. He is expressing his First Amendment right
freedom of speech, as well as under the influence of crack cocaine, because everybody has rights, even crack cocaine heads. But it doesn't matter how much cocaine you use, as long as you are speaking directly about this idiot and speaking the truth about his past. This is an absolute villain. The word of this beautiful young man exercising his rights in the background has tragically has a toddler who fell victim to this monster, because this monster has apparently turned his toddler into a transvestite. Now, this is all the more reason. You might ask how I know this. Well, I saw somebody posted it somewhere, and Jennifer Coffendorfer, my dear friend, she confirmed this to me. So I know this to be true. Hide your kids, because this turtle person will turn your kid into a she-male.
But I don't have any comment on that. You know, I don't think he, I don't think he did make the case, but you know, we're pleased that the judge didn't do it for him.
At the end of the day, is this a weak case that the prosecution's bringing?
It's an incredibly weak case. Every bit of conduct here is First Amendment protected activity. Even the indictments concerning the dispatcher. I want to invite everybody to take a look at the Pentagon Papers case in the Supreme Court, where journalists are completely insulated and protected from criminal liability for publishing.
Now, this moron is afraid. He's clearly afraid of me. He's so afraid of me that I had to block him from my channel so that he could not comment and spread his ugly conspiracy theories without any evidence or proof that these police officers did not do their jobs. And I'm willing to debate this man, if that's what he wants to call himself. But I had to block him from my channel because he is so afraid of me. The evidence shows this. Deep dive.
Material that was illegally taken from a government agency, etc. They're completely protected. So I don't even know why they even brought that charge. They should have never brought that charge.
Is this your reaction to the support here by all the people?
I'm blown away by the support. I feel like this issue is united left and right. People who, even if they might not have disagreed
you idiot.
Topics I've written about before, I think we can all agree that government abuse, corruption is something that unites all of us. And I feel like my coverage of the Karen Read story has gotten me a lot of different readers who might not have liked the content that I produced before, but we can all agree
There's only one thing that unites all of us, and that is my friend, Jennifer Coffendorfer. She unites us all. You idiot. Go back to work at the Piggly Wiggly.
what is happening to not only Karen Reed, to not only me, but also to the Canton Nine and the dispatcher who did nothing wrong except was a whistleblower about corruption, is a threat to justice everywhere, is a threat to the First Amendment, is a threat to free speech. And what you're seeing right now is a desperate move by a district attorney's office who is under federal investigation by the United States Attorney's Office. And in one of the witnesses in particular who I'm being charged with intimidating, they claim that I intimidated him, and as a result, he had to drop out of Bridgewater State University, Colin Albert. When in fact, what they failed to point out is that Colin Albert was visited in his dorm room at Bridgewater State 10 days before I ever heard of this story, with the summons to appear in front of a federal grand jury. So the heat was on them long before I came around. And any intimidation they're feeling.
This young man that he's discussing is Mr. Colin Albert, who is clearly a pillar of his community. And all you have to do is look at his TikTok videos to see that this is a bright young man with a bright future ahead of him, who is clearly living his life as an independent, self-reliant, and rational young man. He is an example to all of us, a blueprint for how the future should be. I'm Bill Cannon, most elite homicide unit, Detective Sergeant, 27 years. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Is likely coming from the federal investigation into them.
Is there something that you want to say the judge inside, but you didn't feel comfortable and you'd say it now?
To the judge? I mean, I was perfectly satisfied with today. I believe the judge ruled correctly. This is a more serious court, and clearly Mr. Mello did not come prepared with any statutes to back up his argument. He looked like a deer caught in the headlights, and so we were very happy with the result today.
Mr. Carney, is it your understanding that based on the new...
What a moron. A deer caught in the headlights. You obviously have no idea what a deer caught in the headlights looks like. Bill Cannon, elite homicide detective, Detective Sergeant, the NYPD, 27 years.
Superior Court conditions, if you wanted to go question any of the people who had been previously questioned, there'd be nothing legally preventing you from doing that.
I'll have to consult Mr. Bradel about that, but it's my understanding that there is that would be perfectly permissible. It's my understanding.
No conditions.
All of the restrictions have been lifted. Yes, all of the restrictions have been listed. You can't break the law. That's pretty much what the judge said, but no one can break the law. So my conditions are no different than any of yours.
Mr. Bradel, are you concerned about a dangerousness hearing, sir?
No, there's not going to be a dangerousness hearing. I think the judge and Mr. Miller were just kind of talking out loud about that. That would be another absurdity in this case, trying to claim that Mr. Carney's dangerous to anybody, which is an absolute joke. I just want to also tell everybody here, it's really encouraging that there are so many eyes on this case here, because that's what we need. We need eyes of the public on what's going on here. The government in this case just suddenly decided out of the blue for their own self-interest, to declare that normal journalistic activity that all of you engage in is now a felony. That needs to be reversed. That needs scrutiny, and that's why we're so encouraged the fact that everyone is here today reporting on this, interested, questioning. This is what America's all about. So we can't thank you all enough for being here. We really appreciate it.
That's not what America is all about.
Thank you.
I don't know where this idiot got a law degree, but that is not what America is all about. In part, that's what America's all about. As long as you don't ask police officers uncomfortable questions. Go back to the Piggly Wiggly, moron.
Thank you, everybody. Thank everybody for coming. I really appreciate it.
How do you feel, Aiden? You know, that makes me so mad to hear all those, sheeple, to hear all of those sheeple there cheering this moron on, showing him support because the town is clearly divided and everyone hates this guy who isn't part of his disgusting toddless transsexual turning sex cult. It's disgusting.
Great. Good Christmas. Good Christmas.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have. I would thank you, but you're all morons and idiots. And the fact that you gave this other idiot YouTuber money shows how stupid you really are. And I've had enough of this stupidity. And it's time for my Metamucil.